Bag to i-upload. Pero wala yung kiko.
Ano, say hi.
Hi. Nalalaro ma, kalimutan ko. Sounding isang glasses ko. Lisa! Kunin ko isang glasses ko.
Hello, Teria. Dito kami sa amphitheater. Going inside. Ha? Andi mang kiniraon mag kano. Si katuya may jag kano mat eh. Amphitheater. Pero aliwan saya may lugan ng tayo. Ah, nakariyo ya. Ayan, may canoeing.
Kumarang ka pa spot. Pre.
Oh. Ulah kamu manaya ni marakap. Di ba tali kay ang gapoy kin, di ba? Ang gapoy.
Kasi dalo yun.
Dalo yun.
Ini wala ikin ko lamang. So,
Reels mo.
ini wala lamang so signal ko dyan.
Ha?
May signal ko dyan. Hindi makapi balik.
Canoeing. Tagaraja di kinsiren. Pre. Biar
Kalau kamu ini tak
ah,
kalau berbisyo to ini.
lalamat. Ay, mana sih.
Oh, kalau berbisyo.
Wala the states di mas grabe lah. Ta mamay na may susursto.
Oh, amin klase bro. Pero apa na to man naman kadong sa subot si si GP. Si GP ano sunga pa sunga.
Si JP ang ganatan.
Ay, bakit na to? Mantan kuko biya baboy nang tagay di magbabay bagat sigat ya. Babay ko bagat sigat na magkupita-kupita simple sa salit alam ko to man salit ko ba to.
Beautiful place.
Kadini.
Oh, magandang view talaga. Stress free. Ah, pre. Nuwadya karon niya, stress free.
Isdos ako abat. Isdos. Sa ni stress ko.
This is the way I brush my teeth. This is the way to Turbo. Mamaya. Wow! Big dog. Sir, saan kayo pupunta?
Magre-report lang ako kay General.
Oh. Oh, galing kayong ano? Galing kayong labanan?
Labanan, no? Masyadong matipunan yung labanan sa Mindanao.
Oh. Buti nakaligtas kayo. Sir,
Meron tayong anting-anting.
dala-dala nyo si Ramon Revilla?
Pilya, oh. Kaya anting.
Oh. Kano-ano nyo si Ramon Revilla?
Malayong kabag-anak na rin namin.
Malayo.
Close kami.
Okay.
Kami na Chabit.
Oh, kanayon nyo rin di Chabit?
Oh.
Oh.
Wala ka akong sabit sa kanya.
Chabit o Sabit?
Sabit. Sabit na lang tayo ng sabit. Yung napangasawa ko,
Oh, taga saan sila?
taga Kamiling.
Kamiling. Oh.
Allah.
Kamiling sa Tarlac.
Oo. Malao.
Sir, saan kayo sa ano, sa Mindanao na padpad? Oh, Basilan. Adi yung babasil kilabat.
Yeah. Kasama ko si Paris.
si, si, si Kapitan Abo.
Saya ako ba nga? Vision dahil pa yun to. Vision dahil pa yun to. Ako ba nga? Babaga to nga ho yun. Ang dantagot. Ako pa nga. Ako pa nga.
Ah, shopping. Diyan tayo kin.
Gas gusto lang ito nunutun to. Shop to ano to ang pinakalaga sa dulo. Gas to tayo. Tayo hindi gas to.
May boat on liber tayo. Di mana ini?
Man.
Kali alis to ni. Wow, nice view. Ha? Nagkamakala. Wow, what a nature. Anong place to? Saan tayo? Bos Echo.
Ito ang tawag dyan. Masinaw Rock.
Ha? Masinaw Rock. Oh.
At Masinaw Gamiig Masinaw Lake.
Oh,
This
this is Masinaw Lake.
Yeah. At
Oh.
Bos Echo.
At Bos Echo. Okay. This is Masinaw Lake at Bos Echo. What a nice place.
It's really nice.
Yeah. See, lots of people canoeing. Okay, let's go. God is really good. Imagine he created this one. It's a nice place. Diyan, mamaya boat. Maboat kami. going to, I think, going east. River otter. Siya si beaver. Beaver. Please do not touch. Maya's sister. Fisher.
Nandiyan, sa kulang parukan siguro.
Yeah. Batalay ticket tayo.
You're good to go. One ticket gets you all in. I'm just gonna hit go to tickets. Sorry. Sorry. You'll just have to go back. Sorry. If you go to your email again, there's just a button that says go to your tickets. Awesome. There we go. Should be loading now. Awesome. 5 of you?
Yeah.
Perfect. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Good. How are you?
Picturean pa kay tanay.
Ah.
Picturean na nani.
Ah.
Sean.
We still got something.
Hi. You know what?
You may have to talk to the people up at Greystones because the tickets you have are for their fault.
You know what? I booked for them. When I press all the
Binoy.
I booked because we're together. I don't know why.
Talasaki kami.
We're together.
Hey!
Book them online.
Yes,
Abot
yeah,
ka.
all of us together.
Can I see the tickets again?
Agamit ka kagiwan.
You just book it once. Yes, yeah. Both of us.
Did you do separate booking?
I did separate bookings.
Yeah, so I think maybe these ones were booked under the 12. The only issue is that our boat can only take 27 people. So unfortunately, other people have booked since then. I'll check again.
Yeah, please, because
But you may have to chat with Greystone.
oh yes. Sinong pupunta doon?
How are you? Yeah, these ones are unfortunately for the 12. If you chat with Greystone to get them, they might be able to help you.
See ba?
Pare ni.
Do you want to go for the ride?
Kapamutan.
I know it's very
Taga kamiling kunutan.
potentially it was an issue with the booking online. But since then, other people have booked the boat, so we have enough seats and life jackets for 29, only 27. You know, unfortunately, I know. I would trust you're a good swimmer, but unfortunately, it's a Transport Canada policy.
If it's a matter of the tickets being sold for the wrong time, I recommend talking to Greystone staff. They'll be able to help you out today, but unfortunately we won't be able to fit you on this boat.
Is going to be taking us safely around Lake Mazenot today. Now, throughout today's tour, I really encourage questions. So if you're curious about anything or said something that's maybe a little bit confusing, please feel free to ask. As well, if you see anything really interesting on today's tour, please point it out and I would love to talk about it. So today's tour is going to be a little bit of a journey through time. So we're going to start by talking about the actual geological processes that created this beautiful landscape. And then we're going to jump forward in time and talk about the first people that were here, being the indigenous peoples. And then we'll jump forward once more and talk about the Bos Echo Inn era. So some of the first buildings and an actual hotel that ran here before. Now I am curious. I'd like to start off with a little bit of an icebreaker. Where is everybody coming from today? Mississauga, Toronto, Hamilton, Vancouver. Whoa!
Brampton.
Really long. Did you guys fly in? Awesome. Where are you guys in the back from? Toronto. Awesome.
Mangaldan.
Sorry?
Mangaldan.
Lumakabit. Wala sika.
I myself am from Peterborough, so not a far drive away, but we're super lucky here at Bos Echo. We actually have staff accommodations. So my commute this morning was only 5 minutes to my actual workstation. That's awesome. I'm glad you've all joined us today on the Canada Day long weekend. So we're going to start our story by going back about 1.2 billion years ago. And essentially, there were two great big continents, and they ended up crashing right into one another. And with all of this force, it created a lot of mountains and a lot of volcanoes. Now these volcanoes spewed out tons and tons of magma. Now as this magma settled down, it cooled into a gigantic blob of granite. Does anyone perchance have granite countertops in their kitchen or their bathroom?
Yes.
Yeah? That's the very polished version of granite. Here at the park, we see the rawest form of that granite rock. And there's three main components. Does anyone want to take a guess, or does anyone know one of the components to granite rock? Any ideas? Any silly guesses? Not lime. I asked one day and a young gentleman said, you know what, I think granite is made out of granite. I was like, it's a really good answer.
Rock.
Rock, precisely. Well, I'll give this one away to you guys today. So the first component you've probably heard of before, it's called quartz. So the white or clear mineral that can be found within. And then the other two, a little less well known, are called mica, which are the black flakes within the rock, and feldspar, which gives the rock its very orange pink color. Now over time, we actually got a lot of seismic activity going on here. So about 60 million years ago, we had a gigantic earthquake that shook this giant section of granite, and it ended up splitting it entirely into two. And with smaller earthquakes afterwards, the two sections slowly pushed away from one another. One of those being the Mazenal Rock, and the other being one of the many waterfronts here at the park. This one is actually home to our walking-in campsites. Is anyone perchance staying at one of the walk-ins? Aw, that's okay. I can't say it on the tours now anymore, Captain Steve. Up until yesterday, I had never had a walk-in camper on my boat. And then I finally asked yesterday, and a group of 4 was finally from the walk-in campsites, and it was like, it might seem pretty not exciting, but it was pretty epic for me after 2 summers on the water. But the walk-in campsites are a super, super special opportunity for camping. You get a VIP beach right on top of the Canadian Shield. Now, if you guys aren't from the walk-in camp, which campsites are we coming from? Anyone from Fairway? Anyone from Sawmill? Anyone from Midway?
Sawmill tayo.
Anyone just here for the
Yeah.
day? Anyone from Hardwood Hills? Anyone from Joe Perry? Anyone from... What other campsites do we have?
We're at a cottage nearby.
Oh my gosh, okay. Anybody from the Camp Cabins? Nice, there we go. I was like, where did you come from? Joining us here for the day, even from your cottage on the water, that must be pretty epic. Now, we fortunately do not get any more earthquakes here today, so we're a pretty safe campground. But what was left behind these two sides of the rock was this very, very deep canyon. And about 2 million years ago, a great big glacier actually passed right through this channel, and it pushed all of the rock and debris out of the way. And as that glacier melted, that's how we got the Mazenal Lake. It filled up this very, very deep canyon with water. And then we actually ended up getting one of the deepest lakes in Ontario. If you forget about the Great Lakes, they're pretty popular. So forgetting about them, Mazenal Lake is the 3rd deepest in Ontario. Now I'm going to Ontario, the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan, the 7 William treaties, as well this is the traditional territory for the Wendat people. Now Indigenous peoples have been navigating these waterways for centuries, and they've definitely left a very lasting legacy for us to see here today on the rock. Does anyone know something we might see today? I like the motion.
Rock climber.
Rock climbers, yes. Yes, exactly. We're going to get the opportunity to see up close some Indigenous pictographs. Pictograph meaning... I am not maintenance nor making. Pictograph meaning rock painting. So we're going to get the chance to vote past a couple of these pictographs, and I'm going to share with you interpretations of their stories. Now keep in mind, this is only one interpretation of those stories, where there could be many across different Indigenous groups. I'll do my best to point them out to you, but if you're having trouble seeing, I also do have photos of them here as well. And on this side, if you're having trouble seeing, we got a full boat today, so feel free to stand up to have a better peek, but sort of stay in the vicinity of your seat. So the first pictograph that can be seen is just at the tips of my fingers here, sort of on this angular piece of rock. You'll notice 4 or 5 red lines. Everyone see that one okay?
Yeah.
So these are interpreted to be tally marks. And tally marks, like we would use to keep track of something, the indigenous peoples would keep track of the number of days that they potentially spent here, or the number of visits that they had to the rock itself. The red ones, yes, they're a little more pink in color. So these are the most common pictographs that were painted here. So I challenge you, as we make our way along the rock, try and keep track of how many different sets of tally marks that you see. So we're going to actually get the chance to see almost 260 pictographs today. But we're only going to stop and chat about a few of them. Sorry? The tally marks? So they would be keeping track of potentially the number of days that they spent here. Similar to how we would use tally marks. Now the next pictograph that can be seen is actually one of the most complex pictographs that was painted. So we're just approaching it here. You'll notice these 2 cat-like figures with this semicircle beneath. So this is a spirit that goes by the name of Mishipazoo. And Mishipazoo is the Algonquin word for Great Water Lynx. And the Great Water Lynx has a very, very important responsibility and role here at Bos Echo. They're actually able to control the water. So it's said that Mishipazoo has this great big tail that they'll slap on the surface of the water and create huge, huge waves. And so, I thought that wasn't good timing, I don't know what it is. But indigenous peoples would often leave offerings of tobacco or other sacred items in order for Mishipazoo to give them safe passage across the lake. Something happens when Thunderbird flaps its wings. Thunder is created. What do you think happens when Thunderbird blinks its eye? Not quite rain. Lightning, precisely. And what happens with Thunderbird's tears? Loved him so much, even though he's never been here before, she left this dedication for him on the Mazenal Rock. So it says there, Old Vault, 1819 to 1919, dedicated to the democratic ideals of Walt Whitman by Horace Traubel and Flora MacDonald. And the last 3 lines there are 3 lines from one of Walt's most famous poems. It's very old poetry, so I cannot read it very well and I cannot translate it very well. But it is 3 lines from one of his most famous poems that just speaks to his very democratic ideas.